My fellow Americans, allow me to take you back to a time when the world teetered on the brink of nuclear destruction and my presidency faced its greatest challenge, the Cuban Missile Crisis. Picture it. The year is 1962, and I, John F. Kennedy, stand at the helm of a nation, grappling with the impending threat posed by Soviet nuclear missiles stationed just 90 miles from our shores. Sitting around the cabinet room table, I remember the tension thick in the air. The photographs taken by our U-2 spy planes revealed the sinister presence of Soviet missile installations in Cuba. It was clear that Premier Khrushchev had gambled with the safety of the American people, and we needed to respond swiftly and decisively. Gathering my advisors, we weighed our options carefully. A full-scale invasion of Cuba seemed reckless, carrying the potential to ignite a global catastrophe. We needed a more measured approach. It was time for a diplomatic dance with fate. Enter the Executive Committee of the National Security Council, or EXCOM. These brilliant minds were my closest allies in this perilous time. Led by my brother, Attorney General Robert Kennedy, they grappled with the gravity of the situation. The room buzzed with anxiety and ideas as we searched for a way out of this crisis. On October 22, 1962, I stepped before the nation and made a fateful announcement. We would establish a naval quarantine around Cuba, preventing the arrival of any more Soviet weapons. This measured response allowed us to signal our resolve while avoiding immediate military escalation. Days turned into sleepless nights as we awaited Khrushchev's next move. Our intelligence told us that Soviet ships bound for Cuba were closing in on our naval blockade. The world held its breath, not knowing whether this was the tipping point. In those tense moments, I put pen to paper and drafted a letter to Premier Khrushchev. I sought to engage him in a diplomatic dialogue and find a peaceful resolution to this grave crisis. With each word, I balanced the weight of our nation's security against the desire for a peaceful outcome. Weeks passed, and the world watched as negotiations unfolded. Finally, on October 28, we received an unexpected response from Khrushchev. In a conciliatory tone, he agreed to dismantle the missile sites in Cuba in exchange for our pledge not to invade the island. It was a breathtaking moment of relief, tinged with the sobering realization that we had come so close to disaster. I addressed the American people once more, sharing the news of the agreement with Khrushchev. I urged them to remain vigilant and never forget the perils we had just narrowly averted. We had won this round, but the threat of nuclear annihilation still loomed over us. As the days turned into weeks, the world exhaled, but the Cuban Missile Crisis left an indelible mark on me. It reinforced the fragility of our existence and the grave responsibility that comes with leadership. The crisis prompted me to pursue the Limited Test Ban Treaty, an effort to curb nuclear weapons testing and ensure the safety of future generations. My friends, as I look back on those days, I am reminded of the unpredictability of life and the importance of diplomacy in times of crisis. The Cuban Missile Crisis taught me the value of measured actions and the power of open lines of communication. It was a high-stakes game, one that could have easily ended in catastrophe. But through careful deliberation, strategic decision-making, and the willingness to explore peaceful solutions, we managed to diffuse the tension and avert disaster. The world came perilously close to witnessing the unimaginable horrors of nuclear war, but we emerged with newfound resolve to prevent such a scenario from ever unfolding. The lessons learned from the Cuban Missile Crisis extended far beyond the confines of that historical moment. It propelled us towards an era of arms control and denuclearization efforts. It pushed us to prioritize diplomacy, engage in constructive dialogue with our adversaries, and seek common ground even in the face of seemingly insurmountable differences. Looking back, I cannot help but feel a profound sense of gratitude for the bravery and dedication of those who stood alongside me during those trying days. The men and women of the EXCOM, our intelligence agencies, and the American people themselves all played crucial roles in navigating through the storm. Yet we must not become complacent. The threat of nuclear conflict still persists in various corners of the world. The Cuban Missile Crisis serves as a stark reminder that the consequences of miscalculations and unchecked aggression can be catastrophic. It is our duty to remain vigilant, to pursue diplomacy over confrontation, and to continue seeking peaceful resolutions to conflicts. As we reflect on the Cuban Missile Crisis, let us honor the memory of those who faced the specter of nuclear war and emerged with renewed determination to build a safer world. Let us draw inspiration from their courage and commit ourselves to the pursuit of global peace and stability. The Cuban Missile Crisis was a turning point in history, and it shaped my presidency and the course of the Cold War. It was a chapter filled with tension, uncertainty, and the weight of immense responsibility. But it was also a testament to the power of leadership, diplomacy, and the human capacity to avert disaster through rational decision-making. May we never forget the lessons learned from that perilous time, and may we always strive for a future where the threat of nuclear catastrophe is but a distant memory. Together we can build a world where diplomacy triumphs over conflict and where the dance with fate leads us down a path of peace and prosperity. Thank you, and may God bless the United States of America.